we can have all sorts of associations and mindsets when it comes to change and growth. We can feel overwhelmed, indifferent, or excited at the prospect of change. When we think of change, that awakens memories from past experiences, all sorts of inner voices and emotions. Some of them may cheer us on, while others try to stop us from changing immediately. In this video, I will talk about the stages and steps we go through while we're changing, so you can sort out all of this inner commotion and stride forwards with confidence. Hey everyone, welcome back, or if you're new here, my name is Maika, I'm a psychologist. This is Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership, a channel about personal growth and self-empowerment. And if you like what you see, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Going through change creates and requires a lot of inner motion, and sometimes inner forces or voices can get loud that seem to try to stop us from changing. But that doesn't have to mean that we are on the wrong path. What you see here are the stages of change from Lindsay Gibson's awesome book, Who You Were Meant to Be. I don't know for sure, but it seems that she's built on the work of James Prochaska and his colleagues and added a lot of interesting detail to the model. If you are going through change, while watching this, try to see which stage you are currently at. It's helpful to know because then you can know what will probably come next, and the better you're prepared for that, the easier it'll be to navigate through it. The roughest way of analyzing change is to divide it into everything that happens before an action takes place. An action here means any action that initiates or expresses change. So everything that happens before that and everything that happens after the first action. The stages that are before action are in the southwestern corner of this map, and the stages after action are in the northeastern corner. In Prochaska's model, the three stages before an action, the first actual action takes place, are pre-contemplation. This is the stage when we're not even thinking about change. Contemplation, when we're starting to think about how a change would impact our life. And then planning or preparation, when we're really starting to prepare for that change. And in Lindsay Gibson's model, these are 5 stages: dissatisfaction, longing, dreaming, information gathering, and planning. It starts out with noticing a discrepancy that then leads to dissatisfaction, and often this starts in the subconscious parts of our mind. We may become more and more aware of experiences that we don't want to have anymore, or we may be dissatisfied with our prospects for the future. We may notice a difference in our current mindset and the way we'd like our mindset to be, or we may discover and become more aware of a part in ourselves that we've been neglecting and that needs to get more room. Then we start longing for change and daydreaming about it. I find this stage of daydreaming specifically interesting because I think often daydreams are seen as something that distracts us from focus and getting things done, which can happen. But I find this perspective on daydreams appealing, to observe them and see what information they contain. So if you're on this stage of change, you are trying to figure out what it is that you want to change. And your daydreams contain relevant information for you to figure that out. Often this is something we consciously have to decide to do and also give ourselves permission to do, because we may have received a lot of training that taught us to dismiss our inner voices and dreams. So the part in us that wants to keep us safe and that believes that daydreaming is dangerous and connected to loss will tell us to dismiss our dreams and only do what we think is expected of us. This is the part in us that sets free emotions like fear or shame in connection to our dreams. This is not because a specific dream is inherently dangerous, but because an old part of our personality is speaking up that made the experience that the truth of our inner voice is dangerous. If you're in the process of sorting out a dream and figuring out if this is something you actually want to pursue and commit to, make sure to separate the thinking it through from those inner voices that learn messages that aren't applicable anymore and that are trying to hold you back with shame and fear. The next two stages, information gathering and planning, is when we gather information about the change that we're thinking of making and then make a concrete plan of what to do next, when to start, how to maintain it. After that, we cross the river, and the next thing to do is to act. And this stage can trigger a lot of anxiety, fear, even panic, or other inner conflicts, challenging unpleasant emotions like guilt or shame. This does not mean you should stop. It can feel that way. And it may be what some of your inner parts desperately want to feel safe again. That's why they're creating that anxiety, to try to get the rest of you to go along with their narrative and to be motivated to let go of your dream. Know that it is natural to go through this, to feel anxious or unsettled when you're actually starting to act on a change that you've been preparing, when you're starting to bring everything that has only been inside of you up until that point into the outside world. It's okay. Allow yourself to feel these emotions. Give yourself time to process everything, but make conscious choices about the voices you want to be listening to for the rest of your journey, the voices that you want to give guiding power over your path. Now there's only one stage left before the stage of success, and that is the stage of persistence and endurance, or in Prochaska's language, the stage of maintaining your action. Most changes are not a question of doing something once, but of creating a new system of habits and then maintaining it. What this phase is like for you depends on the experiences you're making with your new action. Some changes bring about new positive experiences and results fairly quickly, and that can be a powerful motor to keep you going. On the other hand, lots of changes require you to maintain your actions before you see any result. In the Atomic Habits book, this phase is called the plateau of latent potential, or also the valley of disappointment. It's when we've sown the seeds of success, and now we need to keep watering them by persistent action and be patient and allow those seeds to take root and develop sprouts above the ground gradually. Don't allow certain inner voices to get the upper hand during this phase just because the results you're aiming for aren't visible immediately. This way of thinking about change as a progression of stages can make it seem like change is a linear process. But this isn't the most accurate way of envisioning it. Doubts, insecurities, fear, shame can all resurface at any time. And that just means that you're processing the change again from a different perspective, on a deeper level. That's why some models of change depict it more as an upward moving spiral in which we come across the same topics repeatedly but on different levels. Instead of illustrating it as an ascending linear line. Did you recognize where you're at? Does this resonate with changes that you've gone through in the past? And what do you take from this for where you're at now and the next step? I wish you all the best for the change that you're involved in. Till next time, take care and remember to keep walking. Listen to all of your inner voices and emotions with kindness and curiosity, and from a distance that allows you to decide which ones get to influence your course of action.